AITAH for wanting to divorce my husband over a birthday party and cake? Edit. Whoa, this blew up overnight. Let me start by answering a few common questions that seem to popping up in the comments. We've been together for almost 14 years. The oldest child is his, the middle two are mine, and the youngest is ours. Yes, my husband does work in a labor-intensive job, so it made logical sense for me to pick up a second job when money was tight. The problems in our marriage are not new, but I struggle with standing up for myself when it comes to him. I did have one family member that attended the party and one friend. The friend was upset for me and couldn't believe that he didn't try to ask her for help with planning. As for my marriage, there are other issues than this party, as many of you kindly pointed out. I constantly feel that I'm walking on eggshells around him, and one of the children recently told me that they hate how he treats me. There was a recent altercation at a family event that brought our problems out in the open. I would say that 60% of the time that things are wonderful, and 40% of the time I am unhappy. He let himself go in the last 5 years, and hygiene has become a major issue for him. I struggle with this because I really take care of myself. He tends to overreact to the little things, which makes me feel that I can't tell him how upset I am. Today, I will be contacting a marriage therapist, and I plan on finding a therapist for myself as well. I don't know if this marriage is salvageable, but I can't continue to live like this. I love this man with all of my heart, but I want to be with someone who wants to touch me and love me for me. I hope that the marriage counselor can help us figure out more. Throwaway account, as my husband and his family know my main one. I, 40F, have been married to my husband, Sam, 41M, for 10 years. We have 4 children, 22, 16, 14, and 11. And up until the last few months, I genuinely thought that we could work through anything. This is not the only situation that has happened in the last few years, just the one that finally broke me. I recently had a birthday, and Sam planned a surprise birthday party for me. He spilled the beans to me 3 days before the party, and I thought it was adorable that he was so excited about the party that he couldn't contain himself. I wish this was the case. Instead, he told me that I needed to help him clean the house to get it ready for my party. Yes, you read that right. I needed to prepare food and set the house for my own party. I agreed to clean to keep the peace, but was upset. The day of the party quickly came, and I was devastated to learn that he didn't invite most of my friends or family. He claimed that he didn't know how to contact them. The final straw came when he carried out a cake in a flavor that he loved, nothing that I would ever choose for myself. I barely managed to keep it in and cried in the bathroom after everyone left. I feel like an afterthought and hated listening to everyone compliment him for throwing me a party. I work 2 jobs, take care of the kids, do all of the meal planning, grocery shopping, and most of the housework. I am exhausted and just wanted to feel appreciated for a day. AITAH for considering divorce because I feel he doesn't care. I just can't imagine throwing away 10 years of marriage, but I feel broken. AITAH for being upset with my mom for how she handles finances and treats me. I, 19F, saved up for university and summer. I have only 1 month left until I leave, stayed home for the summer, and have been trying to be very careful with my money to not overspend at all before I go to university. But my funds are decent. I paid off some of my upcoming accommodation rent early to have more funds for finance. My mother would randomly ask me often how much money I had saved up, and I would find it really weird. When I asked her in return how much she had, she would dismiss the whole conversation, and she knew I was on a tight budget. But I hate depending on others, so I was still dipping into my summer fund. So I never asked her for money. All she gave me was $30 a week to use on groceries for the household to buy too, which she would still be iffy about and just give me $20, so I would add extra money to it, like $10 or $15. I never found a problem with that though. I just thought it a bit weird as it's for the house. Just me and her. So she wanted an exercise machine and I was like, oh, you should buy a treadmill. She agreed and said to put $60 towards it. $120 treadmill. I found a discount for like $16 off, so I only put $45 towards it. She was saying she had to save her money because she had little and couldn't spend anything. I was like, oh, sure. That same week, she spent about $300 on decor for the house, rugs, curtains, etc. even spending a family member $100 plus that same week, as she said she would look bad if she didn't. I was just on the sofa behind her and we had an argument as she talked bad about me to her friend and told me to myself I was obviously upset because you'll talk bad about me to friends to paint me bad, but never reveal your side. When I was younger, I tried once and she flipped out, so I just cut the phone. Anyway, she felt bad and tried to order some food. I was sitting behind her on the couch and her banking app, which she always hides, was open. And all I'm going to say is, she could pay her rent straight for 6 months with that. I wasn't angry at all. I just felt like, oh. When I confronted her, she got angry and started yelling at me, saying I should not depend on her for anything, which I don't. The only money I get from her is weekly groceries and whatever she feels like giving me. I already do household chores, washing dishes, cooking, and cleaning, and she washes dishes once a week and, crazily enough, makes things so hard for me when I clean. The new rug we got had to get a new brush for it, so I would hand-pick the little crumbs out of it. This she had a problem with, as she had to move off the rug. Like, be happy someone is literally doing it for you. I genuinely pull my weight around this house. I never minded because I didn't want to be a burden. I just feel like it's crazy to treat your child that way. She completely flipped out and kept talking, and I just stayed quiet and locked myself in my room. But I just feel like the way she responded to me confronting her was an admission of guilt. I just feel like if I had a child who was actively trying to not use much money to go back to university, I would not be charging them amounts. I know I can literally pay as a mother. It's so petty, and please don't think I'm being an entitled brat. And I was well all right with paying before. It's just that the things she does do not come from a place of poverty, and I use my own money to buy myself things, not freeloading. I feel like the ugly stepsister without stepsisters. But if I am being an entitled brat, please tell me, nicely of course,